Zoom as well. This is powerful, guys. This is extremely powerful, and I want to show you guys something that will hopefully help you transform your life. Let's share my screen on Zoom as well. I just want to make sure we're live on LinkedIn. Okay, so we're going live on LinkedIn. If anyone has any questions, feel free to let me know. Okay. Thanks for joining, guys. Thanks for joining. We are live on YouTube. Creator Flow, an amazing platform. Yes, we are live. Thank you guys so much for joining. So I want to show you guys something. Let me just record this on Zoom.
Recording in progress.
So I want to show you guys this. This is quite powerful. I wanted to do something extremely different today. Extremely different and extremely unique. Extremely different and extremely unique, where, you know, it's all about, as a CEO, these are simple strategies for you to grow your empire, for you to grow your legacy, because this is all about legacy. Guys, in 2025, everyone has the ability to create. Everyone has the ability to get their voice and their story out to more people. I was speaking to another business owner today, another CEO, and he was saying, you know, it's not so much about self-promotion. I don't want to promote myself. And I think people get confused, this misconception of self-promotion, more the vanity metrics of it, and serving. When we put out content, of course we want to grow our businesses. Of course we want to earn more revenue. Of course we want to have a valuation of 400 million, 500 million, 2 million, whatever the amount is. You have your financial goals because we all need money, right? A lot of you guys have built up your careers because you have a passion. You built up a business or you bought a business. You had an imagination to say, how can I build something that can serve people? Because the only way we truly get true fulfillment in life is by serving people. You have to serve people. And the way we use social media is as a means of distribution. It's a means of distribution of your service. A lot of you guys have one-on-one meetings, you talk to people. Some of you even have seminars that you're doing. And the problem is you have that amazing meeting, you have that amazing seminar, and it only reaches the people who are in that room. Those people in that room probably found it valuable. Maybe they became your customers. But now it's about, well, how can I do it instead of one-to-one or the people in this room? How can I be one-to-many to talk about the problems we're solving? So if I have this problem, I can have a platform, my business, and now I can use social media to distribute that message out to more people. Example, speaking with a CEO that we are currently onboarding. He has a book where he's teaching about female orgasms, right? Interesting topic. That's his passion. That's his life's mission. That's how he's built his business. And he has a bigger mission to get that out to more people. But he knows I can't do that without social media. I can't do that without creating a platform so more people can find out about my book. There's 1 million people in India. 1 million people. Over 1 billion people in India. What about if 1 million people come and reach my book, find my book? I've never met them before, but they can be inspired and they can learn about what I'm teaching because what they'll learn will serve them in their life. So as a business owner, as a CEO, it is crucial to think about how can I be one to many? How can I scale this message? Because your job is to be a marketer. Your job as a CEO is to handle the operations, build your team so well that now your team puts in everything they can to serve your clients because you're serving people. So you're serving your team and you're serving your clients. And When you have a team, when you're building a team, the best CEOs, they can recruit the best people because they have a brand, they have content, they have a means of distribution where people who want to work for your company can come in and know your mission, values, who you are, what the business is about, and how you're changing lives. They need to see the CEO at the front, not in behind the scenes. They also need to see you out there because you're going to attract the best people. And the people who come to you, they're really going to know who you are. They're going to know your mission. They're going to know your values, and they know what they're going to be a part of. And you actually filter people out of that. You filter the people who are not for you, the same way as you'll filter clients who are not for you, right? So the content is a way for us to not only build revenue streams, but to scale. This is how people get booked as keynote speakers, as we've seen with our clients all over Australia, around the world. They're getting keynote bookings because we've built them a podcast. We've built them a podcast, and in that podcast, we bring on other CEOs, we bring on other leaders, we bring on other mentees, and they're now doing what they'd be doing off camera, but now they're doing it one to many. So I'm gonna show you guys this video. Brad Lee is a million-dollar entrepreneur. He's built up a huge business, or he also works within a company as well, but he's built a brand. So he's gonna talk a little bit about it, and I wanna show you guys this so you guys can actually see for yourself. Some of you guys would love to be in his position. If you don't know him, you can have a Google who he is. He's got an amazing podcast. Have a listen. See, but just quickly, did you see what he said though? They're inspired by your story, by your mission. That's inspiring to people. And you build a community. Think about that. Guys, did you just hear that? This is exactly what I'm talking about, right? A lot of you guys are in business. A lot of you guys have your dream clients. Could be a politician, could be a big CEO. You could be a sales coach, a consultant, and you can say, yes, I can target this company. Nowadays, a great way for you to do that is not come and try and sell to them. Like you said, it's someone that I want to close as a client. I'll just invite them on my podcast. Listen. Guys, guys, listen to this. So he's been able to generate through the podcast alone $6 to $12 million in revenue. Obviously, he's built up an audience. He's done it. You don't do that straight away, but he's done that because now the podcast also becomes a revenue stream. Not only is it a lead generation, brand awareness, more eyes on who you are and what you do, which leads to more deal flow, more business, like he said, but it's also a revenue stream because it's an intellectual property. They're assets. Income follows assets. That's a very important thing to notice, and I want to touch on that. So one thing that he said is he's built up quite a significant following, and that's what happens. You do this for 10 years, you do this for 15 years, and don't get me wrong, you're still running your business. He still has a business that he's running. He's an operator. But he knows now I've built up a team that can run my operations. My job is to be the face and to be having this exposure, to be getting more people. So he's built up a significant audience, which now ties into another revenue stream where he can now, people will sponsor. And another thing is, which is important, as a CEO, no matter how big you are, it's so valuable to get on other people's podcasts. You should be able to see how can I get on other people's podcasts? Because now you're selling your company, you're going on someone's show that is around business, that's around your niche audience, and now you're there. People hear about you, more exposure for you, even just appearing on other people's shows. So it's so good. Like you said earlier, he interviewed him on his show, but he was the guest, right? So more exposure. So that's so valuable. You can build up an income stream through things like sponsorships, things like, you know what, other business leaders saying, hey, like I love what you've built. I love your show. I want to be a sponsor in your show because you're talking about, let's say, for example, tech. We have a tech software. You have a tech audience. We would love to sponsor. So you're building an extra revenue stream. You anyone out there who wants to sell their business, this is genius. So, very interesting point he said there. And this is why it's so valuable. I talk to other CEOs and they're very adamant on going on other people's podcasts, which I encourage and I say all the time. You can do that, completely do that. But when you host the show now, you have the leverage. And when I say you have the leverage, you're in a position where people will start to come to you and want to appear on your show. You're a CEO, you've built a business, you know, even if you're a small business owner, people are want to going to come to your show. So you can do either two things. Again, you can still build it as a revenue stream and even charge people to come on your show because them being alongside you, you're going to give them exposure. You're giving them a valuable asset. So you can, the people who come to you, and then again, you outgoing and saying, I want to talk to this person, even if it's not even about your business or gaining revenue. I want to talk to this person. You're going to get in the room with this person at a high status, high level, maybe the same as yours, and you're still building quite well. Boom. Quickly there. In life, we're always learning and growing. I'll tell you a personal experience and personal story where we've gotten CEOs, even now venturing into politicians who are wanting to appear on our show. And I got to a point where I'm sitting in the room with the CEO doing a podcast interview and it hit me. I was like, wow, this podcast is not just about my marketing or building my business or building my legacy, which it all ties into one. But life is all about learning. I get to sit down in the room and learn from people. So not only are you growing your business, not only are you marketing and scaling who you are and earning a revenue stream through this, having that brand awareness, having a place where people can come in and learn from you, hear from you, get inspired by you, get scaled by you, but now you're able to continue learning from different people. And I've seen this with our CEO clients where we put them in the room with CFOs, CEOs, other big brands, and they're inspired because, like, wow, I learned something powerful. And you can now apply that. So it all ties into one huge conglomerate where you're developing yourself, you're developing your leadership skills, you're developing your speaking skills. but it's valuable. You're a lot of you CEOs, a lot of you entrepreneurs, you want to be speaking on stages. You want to be in the right rooms, right? You're networking. Your business is all about relationships and the relationships you keep and the relationships you grow. So, what I realized one day, I was out networking and someone said to me, it was actually this is a separate situation, but I had a business meeting with someone, and he said to me, Sujiro, within 5 minutes of me talking to you, you made me tell my whole story. You made me think about things in my life that I never thought about. It made me realize where I am today. And that came into another realization. I'm like, wow, I've been so used to having a podcast and having so many conversations that I've articulated and I've honed the craft of communication in such a powerful way that even when I'm off camera, it's like I'm on a podcast, which I ask the right questions. Someone loves to have a conversation with me because I'm so used to doing it. So this helps you with your communication, which is one of your most valuable assets for your business. The way you communicate is everything, and you know that yourself. So this is a non-negotiable. For some of you guys who are overseas, I live in Australia. Australia is very slow. Like you can see, these are Americans. Americans, they're fast. They're fast, or they're fast. They know. They get it. Australians here, oh, we don't have, never even thought it. They're slow. So these guys are already on top of it. They're on top of it. And so stop lagging behind. You need to have productive paranoia in the sense that, hey, how can I be ahead? How can I dominate this industry? And you do that by doing this. This is an important point. I love this. I love this so much. The reason why I love this is because a lot of people have that fear as well. A lot of CEOs and entrepreneurs I talk to, they're worried about, okay, yeah, if I start my podcast, then what about the comments? What about what other people have to say? And what he's saying is so valuable. And that's why your podcast becomes valuable because no matter what your thoughts are, you don't get sworn by other people's opinions. Sometimes people's comments may be have good feedback on where you can improve, and you take that as feedback. But when you start a podcast, when you start talking about your mission, your vision, your authenticity, and building relationships and doing what you're doing, you gotta have an iron mind. but this is a lesson in when you guys, you know, you're building your brand out there. So a lot of people do have this fear. You do have this fear of you know, even upsetting people and things like that. But it's podcasting is all about being your authentic self, which flows onto your business. It makes people attracted to you, and at the end of the day, it's all about legacy, building a legacy. So this is valuable because the reason why he has so many setups is because your life is the content. What about if you're in a situation, and this is what we help CEOs do? This is what we do for CEOs. We do this in a position where they're not getting out of their operations, they're not getting out of whatever they're doing. They're focused in on their business, doing what they're doing, but the cameras are recording. And that when the cameras are recording, we now produce that in content. So I just want to show you something really quickly. This is a live event that we have. Please feel free to join our live events. Guys, please connect with me on LinkedIn. If you are a CEO who's looking for this, who's looking to build your personal brand, who's looking to have that mission vision out to more people, feel free to get in touch with us. But basically, he's about to show you his setup of what he does. And this is what we like to say. You want to document. You want to document your life, which is he's got to set up in his office. He's got a podcast studio. He's got all these things because if he just documents these conversations, then those conversations now do this. It becomes your pillar content where he's up on YouTube, which is what we're watching now. And then those pieces of content that you have on YouTube, you can now get those and put them on your Facebook, on your LinkedIn, on your Instagram, on your Snapchat, especially wherever your audience is. And that's going to build up a following. It's going to, you know, it's going to make more people aware about you because now social media has changed. It's about what you're interested in. So his business is about entrepreneurship. A lot of us here listen to podcasts about entrepreneurship because we're building businesses. So we want to be in the environment. Even if we're not there, we can listen to and be in that environment. So now when you document your life and you put out what exactly your mission is, which is about your business, people are going to be interested in that topic. If your business is about love, people who are searching for love are going to find you. They're going to be able to see these short form snippets that you get out of documenting your life. And when they see that, they're going to tap in, they're going to follow, they're going to come in. And that's how you build revenue from your podcast. Guys, what did I just say? Literally, I haven't even seen this part. I haven't seen this part. I had seen a snippet at the start and I said, I'm going to save this for our lovely audience. Did you see what he just said? It's not about creating content, it's about being the content. So when he's doing a Zoom meeting and he's working all day, look, he's in operations, he's working all day. What does he have? He's got cameras in the back recording him, just like I do, just like this is being recorded. So now it's not only the people here on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook. This goes out to everyone. So it's not about creating the content, because a lot of you guys are struggling to create. I got to create content, I got to create this video, I got to do an ad. No, be the content. Your life is the content. Your story is the content. How you're solving business, how you're working in your business is the content. And then you can use that for social media. Exactly what he just said is exactly what I just showed you. Honestly, if you've been in this, document the pillar content, repurpose it into micro content, distribute across all of social media. Document the content, which is be the content, which is document. You're doing Zoom meetings, it's being recorded. You're not recording the person on the call, you're recording yourself. Boom, cameras in the back recording, you're talking, that gets done. You said something valuable in that conversation. You said something about sales training. You said something about the software. You said something valuable. That's being documented. That boom goes off to the team, like ETS Rabasha Media. We now get that content, or you have a team, but let's say you're working with us. You now get that, we get that content. Boom, boom, boom. We make our short form clips. Boom, 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 boom. Package it. Boom. Now that becomes your content. I'll show you quickly, just really quickly. Just super quickly. Sorry guys, 1 second. You see here, this is all me document here. I went to networking the other day, last week. What did I do? In networking, we have a 40-second pitch. I have my camera there. Not many people do. I have my camera there. So I'm in networking. I'm not creating content. I'm networking with, which is what I usually do. So I'm networking, but I'm recording it. Once I'm recording it, now I have content that our team can package up, edit, put together, put it up on YouTube. So now I'm not just networking to the people in this room, I'm networking to the world. I'm talking about my mission, about my story, what I'm doing. Look at me, look at the passion, look how I'm speaking. But I know I'm not speaking to the people just in that room. I'm speaking one to many. So I'm documenting the content. I'm in a meeting with someone here. We're talking about business. Now I'm giving his advice on how he can use social media. Asking him questions. I'm not creating content. I'm documenting it, and then now I can repurpose that into pieces of content that I can put on LinkedIn, which is where my audience is. I'm in a B2B space. So now I'm out where my audience is. Oh my goodness. Let's play that again. Listen. You got to have, again, Americans, like I said, Americans are very fast. So they already get this. There's so many of you guys, you could do it, you have the money to do it, but I don't know, maybe you're just so stuck in your passion, in your operations that you're not thinking that you got to be a marketer. You got to be a marketer. And by being a marketer is not distracting yourself with distractions. You're still focused on your business, but okay, let's just turn the cameras on so we can get the content that goes out. Like he said, a lot of the clips that went viral, that get exposure, that more people know about him, now he's able to now get at a high level. Oh, guys, this is so good. This is actually so good. So good. You see, all he's doing, which is a lot of you guys are doing, is just living your life, running your business. You're focused. You're extremely focused on your business, working on your business all day, and you're just able to, okay, put it again, just to break it down in simple terms. What we do as a CEO of my company, we do this for people. Even if they could be in Germany, US, wherever, you have cameras there, you don't, okay, this is what you get, this is what you get. If we got to be there in person to help them with the setup, boom, cameras, as long as we can have documentation. A lot of them just run a podcast, which is what we do. So you have a podcast, you're doing a Zoom meeting, which you turn it into a podcast, 1 hour conversation, spit your game, talk about your business, do what you're doing, boom. That gets put on a Google Drive, Dropbox, as it's on Google Drive. Now the team, like he just says, now knows what to do with it. Okay, this is what we're going to put this on YouTube. Boom, put this on YouTube. Okay, we're going to get short form content out of this. Boom, put it on your LinkedIn. So you're there running your business, doing what you're doing, and then boom, you have content that's coming out about you, that's marketing your brand, and you're just doing it by documenting your life, and then that valuable content that you're boom, your podcast, boom, now it's just getting distributed across all of social media. And that's when the sales, the revenue comes in. That's when now you're going into meetings and your customers are saying, I listened to your podcast. I saw you on social media. I saw the clip. You're going into meeting. Yeah, I've heard about you. You're the one who runs the podcast. I saw you on social media. And now before you walk in the room, people already know who you are because you're documenting, whether through a podcast, through this. Powerful way. There's so many ways to go about this. A lot of you thinking, oh, how do I do this? I think this is a great breakdown of how to do it. You may not have all this camera equipment. That's okay. Again, you have a laptop, you have a computer. Okay, well, we can start a podcast off the bat. We have other clients. I'll show you just a quick example quickly. This is one of our clients here. What do? We just manage her podcast. Well, because now she wanted to get that brand out there, well, what we'll do is here, this is her office. This is where she works out of. She works here. She runs a tech company. So she's in our office. She's like, okay, I'll get some microphones. I'm going to do this. I want to do this. She's bringing on other CEOs in the industry, right? She's in our office. She's not going out of the way. She's not going out to create content. She's calling another CEO, say, hey, I want you to have come on my podcast. She schedules time in her calendar. Boom. Every Wednesday or every second Wednesday, once a month, I'm going to record a podcast. I'm going to be in my office, sit down, talk, do what I'm doing, talking, boom. That content gets put in a folder somewhere in a drive. And now we edit this and put it on her YouTube channel. And then once it's on her YouTube channel, now she has plenty of short form content. So you have your big content, put it into short form content. This content goes out on social media. More people can be aware of you, know who you are. So let's say maybe one of her sales teams calls you. Maybe one of her sales teams calls you or something like that. You're gonna do what? You're gonna Google them. You're gonna be like, "Who's this? I had Peppermint IT. Wondering about you. They're looking to improve our tech. We've been looking for that. Okay, who are they?" Then they scroll through. Boom, boom, boom. They can see. Look. That everything's there. They can find about you. They can click here on your YouTube channel and then find out more. Google owns YouTube, right? So this is powerful. We've been doing a lot of sales in our business and reaching out to people. Do you know what I do? I also just name drop. I'll say my name. Hey, this is Sujiro Rubashi here. That's all I need to do, because what are they going to do? Well, who is this person? And then they're going to do this. They're going to be like, oh, I do need a podcast. And yeah, that person, wow, I'm intrigued. Then when they come, they're going to see so much content about me. They're going to know exactly who I am and what I do off the bat just by looking. This is what it is. I love that. I love that. I might drop something before you, just like right now. And he said something like that people, and that's why we're a business. That's why we're scaling, is because someone will record a podcast. They go in, like I just showed you, Louise at Peppermint IT, records the podcast, goes away on the drive. She goes back to running her business. Within a few days, a week, her podcast is edited, manufactured, put in nicely, job done. 1 hour a month. Now people are doing two episodes a fortnight, one episode every week, because you don't have to spend time with production or editing. No, you just see the final production of the show and your brand is being built and more people are hearing about you. Scaling your mission and your vision. So this guy's built in a $1 million business. So this is where the investment goes back into, okay, let me build a studio, right? A lot of you may not have the means to do this. Some of you may have the means to do this. Go all in, build up a studio, or you go to a studio, or you do it just like I'm doing here. You can do this everywhere. You don't need to have, this is just inspiration to see where it can get to. It would be nice to build up your own studio, right? But this is where it can get to. And for some of you who have this or who have the means and facilities to have this, what are you waiting for? Contact us. Let's go. Live streaming. And he said that's something that I've started to do more, live streaming, going live. People can see it live, and it's just more content. Yeah. Another powerful thing is live events, which is something that we do. Hosting live events, when you get into personal branding and marketing, it's a game changer. See what he said? If you want to build a personal brand, start a podcast. If you want to build a personal brand, start a podcast. You have conversations. Not everyone's going to listen from the get go, but that's what building is for. Consistency. You see that? So he's running a huge business, big business, but he's developing shows because he knows it's branding. Your goal as a CEO, which is going to be exciting, is how can I just put out as much content as possible? The business is already running itself. I already have a successful company. Maybe I'm acquiring more companies. I'm buying other businesses. For me to buy other businesses, I need to keep building my brand. I need to keep building my brand. So, another thing he said was, this is really awesome. Let's say you buy a business. Let's say you acquire a new business. So you've bought a business to scale it so you can earn the profits, right? Smart. You buy a business. A lot of people are doing that. You buy a business, buy companies, right? So now what you could do is, because you've built up a brand and you've built up a podcast, you've built up an audience, you've built up a significant following, when you buy a new business, now you can bring the CEO of that business, or you can now market that business that you've just acquired through your podcast, which already has an audience. And now your audience can be tapped into that new business that you've bought. And that's how you even raise awareness. So by building a personal brand so powerful that you can now acquire companies, and when you acquire businesses, you can now market those businesses because you've already built up a media infrastructure even through your personal brand. A great person who does that really well is Diary of a CEO. He's built up a podcast and he has a flight fund where they acquire companies. So when they acquire new companies, they can put those companies as sponsors on their show. They already have a big audience. Now the valuation of those companies already go up because now more people are aware of them because they've already built up an audience. Built up. And sometimes it doesn't just have to rely upon you, right? You now have known how to do this and build a brand. You buy a business, you have a CEO who's running that, boom, start a podcast, bring a host on that show. This is what we're going to do. We've bought this business, we want the profits to go up, we want to increase the valuation. This is what we're going to do. The business is already doing well, it's already, that's the reason you've bought it. Okay, let's just scale it. Well, let's start a podcast for it. Here, start a podcast. Here, have a show. I could be, you could be the host, whoever. Boom, build it. But you've already learned the operations. You've learned how to build up assets in your business that you know how to do that, and have the right people to help you do that in the businesses which you've bought, which is just going to raise valuation. So this is next level stuff. What did I just say? What have I been saying? You got to flood the internet with your face. That's why we post consistently. That's why our clients are there consistently. When you build a personal brand, you got to flood your face. That's what I just said. You buy businesses, you acquire businesses. Boom, you've got a podcast. Boom, those businesses have a podcast. You gotta flood your face. We own distribution. We own distribution now. Well, we don't own these platforms, but we have the ability to put distribution across these platforms. machine. Next level. You got to have more. This was so inspiring. I think for the business owners who are watching this, take inspiration from this. I'm so glad we could do this. I've started live streaming on Twitch. I got to keep creating more, right? Where I'm a business owner, I'm an entrepreneur. I put business content out in the marketplace, but I'm also now putting out, doing different things, running my business, putting out business content, running streaming, vlogs, everything. You got to flood your face on the internet. That was inspiring. And like he's just said, so many businesses and companies are not using social media correctly. They're not using it properly. You have the power to build the life of your dreams. You can build it in operation. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's see what he says. And you see what he's doing. David Shands, he's built a big podcast. He's doing genius things. This is smart. He has a podcast summit, kind of similar to what I'm doing, and he's giving me ideas. Maybe we should have a podcast summit. I'll talk to my team about that. Eventually, those are things that we want to do where we encourage podcasters. But now he's built up a podcast summit, and now he's using content like this, speaking to big people like this. All the people who are interested in podcasting, they're going to watch this. And if they're in his audience, they're going to want to come and have speakers like that. This is how you build a legacy. This is how you do it, guys. Right now, at the moment, we're only taking on 2 clients for the next 2 months. I think we have 3. We can only take 3 spots to do exactly what we just showed you just there. That's what we do for people. We set up a podcast for them. We build that podcast. We grow it. We build their brand, and then we flood their face on the internet. You got to flood your face on the internet. I think that's also a great reminder for my meeting today. Something I'm going to tell this prospect is, you got to flood your face on the internet. When we take your podcast and we're editing your episodes weekly, we got to flood your face, and that's with a lot of organic content. So if you want to contact me, you can do so. You can head over to our website at ETS Rabasha Media. ETS Rabasha Media, this is who we are. Feel free to head over to our website, and we've got a lot more coming on the way. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the other side.